Are you watching closely? I spent hundreds of hours studying the biggest YouTubers on the planet to find what makes their videos look so amazing. And despite all their differences, I've discovered 3 simple tricks that many of them do to make their videos stand out. And the best part is, anyone can use these tricks to make their videos look 10 times better, because they're not, have the greatest equipment and a lot of money. And one of them might actually save you some money. So let's start with the first trick, and to explain, I'm gonna show you a few clips of popular YouTubers' videos to see if you can tell whose they are, even with their faces blurred out. Did you get it? Well, of course they're Ryan Trahan, Mr. Who's the Boss, and Goxhart. And I bet a lot of you were thinking, well, that was easy. But why? Well, it's the same reason whenever you see this, or hear this, you immediately know what it is. Each of these YouTubers have created elements you associate with them, from Ryan Trahan's lo-fi vibes, Mr. Who's the Boss's electric neon text and graphics, and Goxhart's color grades. So when you watch their videos, you immediately feel like, oh, I know this and I like this. And that's the thing, having videos look better doesn't always mean having the greatest camera and the most expensive lighting. It could just mean unique. Now you might be thinking, oh well, yeah, sure, just make something look unique. How am I supposed to do that? Well, it's easier than it seems. When I worked in Hollywood, I would go to meetings where writers would come to pitch their movies. This is a courtroom drama meets a superhero movie. This is a James Bond meets a Quentin Tarantino movie. No, it's Toy Story meets John Wick. Oh, I almost forgot. So don't worry about being completely original, because a lot of what we consume are just familiar, comforting things combined to make them unique. Like this Mexican pizza. So all you have to do is draw inspiration from your favorite movies, TV shows, YouTubers, or anywhere else, and pick one aspect you like from a few of them, and then combine it to get a unique look. For instance, I can mix the symmetry of Wes Anderson, color grade from Barbie, some simple Ryan Trahan text, and a Mr. Beast explosion. All right, maybe not that last one, just make sure it fits the tone of the video you're making, and then go nuts. So let's move on to the second trick, and for this, I went back to some popular educational YouTubers' first videos to see how different they are and what they've learned now to make their videos look so good. Could you tell why those clips looked not so great? Well, there's a few reasons, but the one they all have in common can be explained by going back to grammar school. Don't worry, we're not gonna learn math. In grammar school, I was intimidated by how big everything was. The hallways, the teachers, and especially the principal. Everything felt so authoritative and a bit scary. But the funny thing is, many years later when I went back to visit as an adult, I couldn't help but think how small everything and everyone seemed compared to how I remembered it. In reality, the size of the school or the teachers never changed. I did. And so did my perspective. In these clips, the camera's positioned above them, and they're looking slightly up as they try to teach you. But look at what they do now. Are you watching closely? The camera is slightly below the eye line, and you'll find this is pretty common practice everywhere you look. And that's because camera angles matter. Slightly above the eye line minimizes the double chin, but the higher the camera gets, the weaker and less authoritative you seem. Michelle Khare uses this in her amazing videos to show positions of weakness as she tries to master a new skill. Exactly at eye line, and you're on equal footing, and it's like having a conversation with a friend, like everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood YouTube man, Casey Neistat. Slightly below the eye line shows power, and it's a great angle for explaining or teaching. But just be careful not to go too low, because then you can seem menacing or even evil. Now, as promised, one of these tricks might save you money, and when I was doing my research, it was the most surprising thing I found, because some of the biggest YouTubers in the world are doing it despite seemingly unlimited resources. And it goes against everything I've learned, but when I think about it, it's actually really smart, because it subconsciously fools our brains. And to understand, we have to talk about robots. And no, not stupid ChatGPT. In the 1970s, Masahiro Mori, a professor at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, observed that as the creation of robots looked more and more human, they became more and more appealing and likable to us. Kind of like going from HAL 9000 to WALL-E, but only up until a certain point. Somewhere between obvious robot and indistinguishable to human, there was this weird area where robots looked off-putting. Mori made this fancy graph and called this area Uncanny Valley. Now, many big YouTubers had the same problem these creepy robots created, and to see it, all we have to do is change this axis to production quality. In general, as production quality increases, we like the videos more. But here on YouTube, there's this unwritten expectation that videos feel like they're made by one person or a small group, different from the big bad movie studios or streamers like Netflix. Subconsciously, we want our videos to feel raw, real, and authentic. So when videos are so completely polished and produced, they can fall into this valley where they lose that authenticity. Of course, the reality is many channels channels have dozens or even hundreds of people working on them. Some are probably bigger than actual movie studios. So in order to avoid the problem of having their videos feel inauthentic, these channels do this. Despite their extreme budgets, they're uploading videos in a resolution introduced in 2007, 1080p. Listen to Mr. Beast explain why.
I don't like the way high quality footage looks. At the end of the day, it's just me and the boys messing around. I don't ever want things to feel too produced.
He doesn't want you to think about how you're watching a video hundreds of people worked on. You're just watching a couple of friends do some cool stuff, and it works. That doesn't mean you should upload in low resolutions, but the takeaway here is maybe you don't need the newest 4K, 8K, or 12K, or 100K camera. Now, you might think, well, that's easy for you to say. You're using a high-end Sony mirrorless camera and a $2,000 lens. But was I? You might go back and try to sort it out, but I doubt you will. Because for these tricks, it doesn't really matter what you use. It's how you use it.